So we'll start with the first question here. It's from Christian Gumminger. He asked, if you had three My Guy stickers to put on prospects this year, who are your three? Jordan, we kind of had a conversation before the podcast. We both have a lot of guys. So who are the three that you're going to put your sticker on?
Man, first of all, shout out to the AP crew, Arrowhead Pride,
Yeah.
for starting that whole My Guy thing. The draft guide is launching today,
Hmm.
for them, and I know I'm not supposed to flex their stuff too much, but man, it's fantastic work, and really, it works in perfect conjunction with all the other draft content going on. But man, for three, I picked four. I have an honorable mention. I'm gonna go Bryce Thompson from Tennessee. There was some off the field stuff that'll keep him off some teams' boards. On the field, really good player, 8 interceptions in college, really physical, lengthy corner, really long arms. Needs to kind of improve his footwork. I think he's a year off from being a major contributor, but on probably a day three pick, like a round four, teams can get a future starting corner, I think, and that's a really good deal. Paris Ford, my number one guy. And it's been tough to be a Paris Ford guy recently with his
Hmm.
the pro day was just not good. Like he ran, I think it was a 4.9. Like
Yeah.
it was really bad. Some offensive linemen were clocked running faster than him. Look, if you watch his tape, he's not a 4.9 guy. Like there are several plays where he is like absolutely just hauling, you know what, tracking people down. He's not that slow. Super instinctual, good ball skills, very fearless player. So I like Paris Ford a lot. Pete Werner from the Ohio State University, good athlete, good kid, um, really strong. He can stack and shed and run support. Really just comfortable player doing that. And he's played all three linebacker spots at Ohio State, and that's huge. I mean, he's smart enough to play the Mike, he's athletic enough to play the Will, and he's strong enough to play the Sam. So I think he'd be a great pick for the Chiefs. Maybe if they went linebacker in rounds 2 or 3, I'd really be banging the table for him. Then Elijah Molden from Washington. I think, man, he really smart player. His IQ is through the roof. Really fluid mover, good ball skills. He's a perfect slot cornerback. And I think if the
Hmm.
Chiefs they can't get a guy like Bashad Breeland back, they might have to move Snead to the outside. Drafting a guy like Molden in round 2 would be a perfect slot replacement. So those are my, I guess, four guys, even though we were only supposed to pick three.
Yeah, I guess I've got an honorable mention too. As you were talking about it, I was thinking, who are my guys? Because I got my list down here, and then as you talking, I was thinking about like mock drafts we've done, and I had one guy pop in my head who I always vouch for. But before I get into my list, I mean, I've bought the draft guide. Like I've got the AP draft guide. It's gonna be in my inbox. I'm stoked for it. Listen, we don't expect you guys to exclusively listen to us or exclusively read, watch our content, right? It's a great supplement to everything else. We expect you guys to, listen to AP. I listen to AP. I mean, I listen to all the times hours. I listen to everything out there, everything that I can. So we don't expect you guys just to be exclusive because we like to mess around and see, what are we doing? Are we doing stuff right? And so when I hear AP Pride talk about some of the guys we talk about, makes me feel a little bit better about what we're doing here. And I got a couple guys that I know AP has talked about. Tevin Jenkins is a guy that they're really high on, and actually Craig Stout was the first guy to show me Tevin Jenkins. That was like what in January. It was before the Super Bowl, I think,
Yeah.
when we were on that Zoom call with him when he showed us Tevin Jenkins, and I think that he was like one of the first linemen I watched, and I was like, oh okay, and I just kind of stuck with it, right? There's an unreleased in the archives of Roughing the Kicker. I've done a film scout over Tevin Jenkins. Will I release it? I don't know. But it's unreleased. The video is ready to go. But it's out there. Maybe I'll make people pay for it. Maybe that's how I'll get it out there. Maybe make a quick buck off of
$5
it.
a pop.
Yeah, I'm sending you the MP4. It's a pretty good video if I can say so myself. But Tevin Jenkins is one of those guys. He's nasty, man. He's just a really good offensive lineman. Landon Dickerson, another guy who is just a really good offensive lineman. I know the injury concerns, all valid and everything like that. But Landon Dickerson, man, is just a vicious football player. He's a really good center, keeps a clean pocket. He's a good anchor. If you give him a year to rest, I think you draft him in round 2. If the Chiefs can snag him in round 2, I think that's a beautiful pick. Really, if the Chiefs trade up in the 40s, I'd be perfectly fine if they drafted him right there too. So I really like Landon Dickerson. I think he's going to be a good pro wherever he goes. That's kind of the same thing. And Josh Matterbaby is another guy that I think is going to be a really good pro wherever he goes. And especially for the Chiefs, he could be a really good developmental X wide receiver for this year. I don't expect him to jump in and go right away. Like he does jump to the moon. Like his vertical is literally record setting. But I don't expect him to come in and be an immediate impact player. I think sometimes when we say like this is our guy, people can sometimes think, oh, this is who they think can come in and play right away. Not necessarily. I mean, the guy. I don't think like what Bryce Thompson too. You mentioned is a guy who has
Mhm,
some off the field issues. Could really benefit with a year in the system, especially defensive guys too. I don't have any defensive guys on my 3 list. My honorable mentions defense, just to give you a hint. But I think a lot of the defensive players will benefit from a year in Spagnuolo's system. You just see that work a whole lot better. Anthony Hitchens, I think, is a great example of that. He gets another year in Spagnuolo's system. He plays a lot better last year than he did the year prior. So I think that that'll be really big. And even in Andy Reid's system too. You look at the receivers typically in Andy Reid's system. It's year 3 when they really start to take off. So maybe watch for McCole Hardman. Maybe this is McCole Hardman's breakout year then, since this is year 3. So maybe we don't totally give up on McCole Hardman yet. I don't know. Let's hold out a little bit of hope for this season. Lastly, my honorable mention. Do you know Jordan? Do you think you know who I'm going to go with here on defense?
I think it's Addy Ogundiji, but I'm
It's
not entirely sure. Okay.
You nailed it. Yep, it's Adi Ogundeji. Just because of his versatility, Spags really likes guys
Mhm,
with versatility. In the defensive backfield, I don't know why he wouldn't like guys with versatility on the defensive front. You know, if you got Adi Ogundeji who can go up there, he can play on the interior, he can play outside. He's got the size to do it. He's got the arms to do it. Tested really well at his pro day. I believe that was on the 31st. So I mean,
mhm.
all those Notre Dame guys tested pretty well. I don't know if Brian Kelly buried him like he did Liam Eichenberg, but we'll see. I think that he'll be a good pick. Again, a developmental guy. Just because we're saying that these are guys doesn't mean they'll play right away. But yeah, that's who I really like. And I know I didn't spend a whole lot of time on defense, but like when I think of the defense and who I want the Chiefs to take on defense, I think Adi Ogundeji is probably the first guy I think of.